I told you earlier on the show that we would be having our guest talking about the International Day for People Living with Disabilities. How we have questions that we would be asking. That is, how can we include all of them in the society? Remember, I had the conversation on how we can include them in job opportunities, making sure that there is ability in their disability and seeing their strength other than their weakness. Now, I have Yetunde Tanimomo here in the studio. She is the founder of Miss Ability and also a disability advocate. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much for having me.
The more, what is worthy of note is the fact that the theme for this year's celebration is promoting the participation of persons with disabilities and their leadership. Of course, taking taking a look at the 2030 agenda. Now, for me, the question is, how do we create an all-inclusive society for people living with disabilities? For the sake of this conversation, let's call it PWD, okay? Persons with disabilities. So how do we create an all-inclusive society for PWDs to a point where they start taking leadership roles? Because it's a big conversation.
It is.
So what do you think?
Okay, for me, I think I always say it's not about the government alone. Mm-hmm. Okay, we have parents that have kids with disability, and it's very unfortunate that some of them don't allow their kids to come out. And it's not their fault also. It's the fault of the society that we found ourselves. Mm-hmm. That when you see a child living with disability, you're like, there's this thing about them that you just, So for that, a lot of them don't like to come out to show that, oh, okay, they have this kind of disability. And for me, I feel one of what I'm trying to advocate for is parents especially, should try and allow these kids to come out. They should show what they have. It's not their fault that they are disabled, right? But in as much as they are disabled, there's still something about them that they can still do something. You understand? So if from the family up front, they are able to push these kids out to say, okay, you can do something. You can actually learn something. You can be something. I think from there, the government can now, take charge. Yes, government is doing their bits, at least their bit, but they need to do more. They really need to do more. Like, if you go outside the country, they are like kings. I mean, the disabled people, they are like kings. They have provisions for them. In fact, when you see a disabled person coming inside the bus, you have to wait for that person.
Before you continue,
yes, please.
For the sake of this conversation, if there's anything that we know and we try to avoid with media use of language, is to call persons living with disabilities disabled. As much as possible, let's try to pull that word out of it, because that's one of the core conversations that needs to be had. When you see a person living with a disability and you just look at it and say disabled generally, and it's a sensitive word to use for media.
Yes,
that's why more often than not we rather stick to persons living with disabilities.
Yes, that's what I like to call them, because I don't like to say, oh, they are disabled. Hey, hello, everybody is disabled somehow. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's just that theirs is more profound and you can actually see it. So like I was saying that.
You're telling us the importance of having this conversation.
Yes, exactly. So I feel the Nigerian government, as it's where they need to put these people in consideration. Like, okay, they want to apply for jobs. Are there jobs for them? Is there provisions for these people? So these are all the things that we're just trying to advocate and just trying to say, okay, let them have a voice too. Okay, it's not just for people like us too that are physically able. Okay, even people that are physically able, they don't have a job yet. So I think it's just it's a society thing. I don't know how to put it. It's a deep conversation that I can't really go. I don't know how to really dealt with it like that. So I think that's the thing.
Okay, for me, I feel like there's a particular perception mindset that has been made already, and this in a way affects how people living with disability, affects the way they think of themselves. Now, Now, for instance, there was this story that was trending on social media. I don't know if you saw it. A particular young lady that I think she wanted to be a neurosurgeon, and then she realized she's I think she's deaf and
She's
blind.
legally blind,
She's
and then
blind and she's deaf. And then she became the first deaf and blind medical doctor. And
that's in
her
Britain.
story, yes, in Britain, in her story, she said something about people weighing her down with their words and making her feel like, oh, what exactly do you tend to achieve in this field? And then she felt, okay, I might not be able to, run surgeries on people. I might not be able to conduct medical tests on people, but then I know that I have my ability in certain levels. Yes. Now, it took her that strong mindset to fight for what she wanted. So how can we get to that point that these people actually see themselves that way and see the ability in themselves? Because it starts from them. If they can actually see themselves that way and have that capacity, then nobody in the society would be able to weigh them down. So how can we achieve this?
Okay, I think that thing, I don't know that it's everywhere. Okay, it's so unfortunate that our NGO, that's what we do, and that's what we come about Disability pageant. So what we do is you have to be able to do something. You have to be able to have a talent to be able to be part of it. So what we're just trying to encourage is that you must be able to do something. For the fact that you're disabled doesn't mean that you can't do anything. So we just try to encourage you that, hey, before you can be a part of this, you must be able to do something. If you want to draw, if you want to dance, if you want to make air, you must be able to do something. Now, I think it's a general perception. It's a general perception, last year, our last winner, she's a Down syndrome. She has Down syndrome, and there was a time we took her out to see a movie, and there's this woman. I don't know what happened. I don't know what really happened. I think she just hit her a bit, and the woman just go, like, why did you touch me? And I'm like, I was so freaked out. I was like, okay, what happened? And she didn't know that I was with her, and she went, can't you see the way she's looking? Can't you see? And I'm like, how is she looking? I was really, really annoyed. I was like, I mean, this is just a child. She's just 12 years old. I mean, if you're treating someone with Down syndrome like that, I don't know how you treat somebody that has leprosy. I don't know. I mean, there's some kind of disability that you will see and you will like, oh, But she just has Down syndrome. It's just one chromosome that went wrong, And I don't know. I think we just need to have empathy on people. Forget the fact that they are physically disabled. I think people need to learn empathy. We need to be able to show kindness to everybody. I don't really want to know if they are living with disability or not. People don't show kindness in this country. We don't, not even in this country, everywhere. But Nigeria, I think there is something about us that we are just we freak out when we see people that are not like us. Hello? We need to show more kindness. We need to show more empathy. We need to show more concern about people. Even though, apart from the fact that they are physically disabled, even me, you, and everybody, we need to show more kindness to people. And we have discovered people don't show kindness to people. So what about you now say you want to show kindness to somebody living with disability? It's like, So I think it's a personal thing. For me, it's not a government thing right now. It's a personal thing. People need to show kindness. You need to show more concern about other people. Okay. And I think it's just a thing of a personal thing.
Okay. You didn't really actually hit the nail on what I was asking. Now, for instance, we have the factor of parents.
Yes.
Which you mentioned earlier on. We have the factor of people around their environment where they stay. We have the factor of family members around these people. Now, how can you, from younger age, how can you make them believe in themselves without thinking of what the society has to say about them or thinking about what the perception of the society has created about them? How can they believe in themselves and, see themselves in the light of taking up these leadership positions and roles?
Okay, like I said, everything starts with the family. So the way you treat your child, the way you train your child up really matters, right? Let's forget about the fact that they are living with physical disabilities. Normally, if you want to train a child, you need to instill confidence in that child. But you know what I've realized? even for parents, some of them don't have this confidence in themselves. So they train up a child in a way that if you don't have confidence in yourself, how do you want to instill confidence in a child? It's a very, very serious issue. As a parent, you need to be able to know that, okay, you need to know yourself. You need to know the kind of person you are before you can train a child. And like I always say, I'm also a professional counselor. So like I always say that bringing up a child is not just, I mean, you need to know who the kind of person that you are as a person first. Then you need to know the kind of child, because we have introvert children, we have extrovert. So right from childhood, you study your child. Now, when a child that has Down syndrome, you might not know immediately. You get you not even know, like in months' time. Maybe the child cannot be like, maybe 1 year, you now be wondering that this child is a way the child is looking, there's something different about. That's it. You need to be able to know that, okay, study your child, know what your child wants.
Okay.
You know, understand the kind of environment that you are in also, because that also will help you in training the child. Because if you are in Agege, if you are in any environment, you have the right as a mother and as a father to be able to instill some principles into this child. You know, it comes from you. It's from yourself.
All right. Yeah, to add to what you said, I think the full participation should start from the home. Now, sometimes because of the condition of those children, parents tend to, for instance, you have a child who is living with a disability, and you have another child that is not. Now, most times you tend to have the one without disability do more of the house chores and do more of what you want them to do in the house without including the child living with disability. So I think from the home, there should be this full participation between the children, making sure that you include them in every activity from the home. So that way, they grow up to having that mindset that I can do anything at any time I want to do it.
You can't even exclude the child that is living with the disability. You can't. You have to also, in a little way, still help that child to like say, okay, you can carry something, you can do this, you can, you know. You can't just say, okay, just leave this one alone because he or she is living with disability.
Many thanks for watching our video. I do hope you liked it. Join our YouTube family by clicking on the subscribe button. And of course, do not forget the notification bell so you get a notification every single time we post a new video. Like, share, subscribe. Adios.
One of what I'm trying to advocate for is parents especially, should try and allow these kids to come out. They should show what they have.